And hey, we are here with Steve Hurst, Headline Comic. How are you today, sir?
Hungover as a motherfucker.
Oh, no way. Oh, you had 2 shows last night, and were they sellouts?
Yeah, actually, the first show, they hit capacity. They went over capacity, ran out of seats.
Congratulations.
Over 300 people there.
Okay, we'll do your quick biography.
You sound so different, Monty, today. You sound very professional.
Exactly, because I'm not hungover. That's why. Okay, so you have a little different background to most comics. You actually come from an acting background. How
Yes,
did that come?
I went to a school called KD Studios, and I auditioned for them. I always wanted to act, but never really had the chance in England. But I auditioned for KD Studios. This really happened. I did a Shakespearean monologue, and they didn't know I was English, and they were like, "Man, you fucking nailed it!" And they gave me a scholarship. They did.
That's awesome. And how long were you in school with KB?
I think it was 2 years. It was like an associate's in applied arts and science or some bullshit.
Oh, nice.
That's how they say drama. So you still have to do a math class, an English class, a science class. You have to do all of them a semester, as well as like weird classes like movement, where you have to be a fucking tree. Which is difficult. Like try and be a tree. Or try and be like one was a tree, one was a leaf. I'm like, how the fuck are you a leaf? I don't even know how you do that.
So my directing style is bad now. I'm like, hey, do this. Okay, I can do that easy. So after that, you did that for a couple years, and how did you end up getting into stand-up?
Well, I always wanted to do stand-up. I did a couple of open mics, and I got told, I'm not going to drop names, but I did a particular open mic in Dallas. It's a pretty famous open mic, and I was working at a group home, and I could only do Thursday nights, and no, I could only do Friday nights. And they said, well, normally when you start out, you got to do Thursdays. I go, but I work Thursdays. Is there any way I could do Fridays? Yeah. So I started doing the open mics, and I thought it was going well. I worked really hard at it. And then one day, just out of the blue, the owner of the open mic thing called me up, and she told me that I can no longer come back to Backdoor because I'm just never going to make it as a comedian.
And that's true, because you're not headlining at all right now, are you?
Right, and I was like fucking demoralized. I was like, what? And because I don't think I ever really did that bad. I know there were people worse than me. I don't know if she got me confused with someone else or something, but it didn't make sense. But anyway, so I stopped. And then she called me back about 2 weeks later and was like, did you want to come down on Friday? I'm like, you're fucking bipolar, motherfucker, no. So, but I stopped, and like it really put me back a little bit. And then I started a DJ, a karaoke thing called Shagadelic Entertainment.
Nice.
And I wanted to do karaoke because like I could have a microphone and talk into a microphone. It sounds silly, but like I figured I could do it like that. But I couldn't sing, and so we did a karaoke at Bennigan's. I was working at Bennigan's, and like people fucking hated me because I was like making fun of them and stuff like that, and they were about to get rid of me. And I said, let me just try something. I was driving back that night, and I heard a commercial on the radio, and it was a guy doing Austin Powers, and he was awful. And I thought, man, I know I could do that voice better. So I got home, and the next day, I was married at the time, I asked Michelle, I said, does this sound like Austin Powers? I did the voice, and she's like, it sounds just like it. And I started thinking, maybe I can fucking host the karaoke as Austin Powers. So for my birthday, Michelle got me an Austin Powers suit, and I'll never forget, because I didn't try it all on, the teeth and the wig. It cost me like $600 to get everything.
Oh, shit.
I went to the dentist and got the teeth molded.
I didn't know you spent that much on it. I never seen it. It's an awesome costume.
Yeah. And then I got a wig and went to a hairdresser's and got her to cut the wig in the style and stuff. And I had to find the right shoes and like put a lot into it. But I didn't know if I was going to look like it. Well, anyway, we advertised it at Bennigan's. It was going to be this special host of karaoke, and it was fucking packed. There was like 150 people in there, and I'd never tried the outfit on. I didn't even know if I was going to look like him. And I remember I was working with a guy called Kevin, and he was like the sound guy. We were like a good friend. And I put the stuff on, and we were in the back in the dry storage at Bennigan's. I put the stuff on, and I come out, and I go, "What do you think?" And he goes, "Oh my God!" And I go, "Is it that bad?" He goes, "You look just fucking like him." And I went, "Oh, behave." And he was like, "What the fuck, dude?" So I had this wireless mic, and we built it up like, "Are you ready for your special host?" Yeah, and I came out as Austin Powers. Was like, "Oh, behave, yeah, look at you go, baby." And people went fucking crazy. And like, so that the next day, another 2 Bennigans called me up and offered me work doing the same thing there. By the end of the week, I had karaoke Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at all different Bennigans.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, at $300 fucking a pop.
Oh shit. Not
Yeah.
bad. More than most of you.
Yeah, and so I did that for a bit, and then I just kind of, I got bored of doing it, and I wanted to do fucking stand up, and I got hold of a guy named Gary Hood,
our teacher.
is a pretty legendary guy in Dallas Fort Worth, and I started taking his classes and learning you know, how to do stand up and stuff, and I got a really lucky break early on because I was emceeing. And I was doing the Austin Powers at the end of my set, and people were fucking going crazy over it. And I worked with a guy called Billy D in Arlington, and after the show he come up to me and he said, "Hey, I've got this thing going on with a kid from Kid and Play called the Comedy House Party Tour, and we're looking for a third person, and I think you'd be great for it, but it's really up to Chris. So I'm gonna get us a gig together, and if he likes you, you can be on the tour." So
You guys aren't friends at all, you and Chris, right?
so I met him in St. Louis, and we did a show at a place called The Voo in Missouri, and it was packed, and me and Chris got along just like that. And so all of a sudden, you know, 6 months into fucking comedy, I'm on the road full time, you know.
That's pretty quick. That does not happen like that.
Ridiculous.
Does
Yeah.
not happen
I
like that.
didn't know what the fuck I was doing, but I only had to do 15 minutes in the middle. I didn't even MC it. I was in the middle. I was the feature.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 15 minutes, and you know, we did that for a long time. Worked with Chris and Billy, and you know, that's kind of how I got started with it, really. And then as you know, as I got better and we all just kind of progressed, you know, I started headlining rooms after a couple of years because of that closer that everyone was talking about.
The Austin Powers closer, right.
Yeah, man. It was like, I remember in the peak, I was booked probably a year and a half in advance.
Fuck yeah.
And I never made one fucking phone call. Those people called.
That's seriously impossible. It doesn't happen. Almost,
Yeah, you know, I mean, I would get. I remember Sarah Nye from the Cleveland Improv calling me up, and she said to me, "Hey man, is this Steve Hurst?" I'm like, "Yeah," and she goes, "You know, I'd love to get you in the Improv." I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." I go, "I've got something in March," and she goes, "Oh, sweetheart, I've already booked March this year. I go, no, March of next year." And she was like, "What?" I go, "Yeah, I'm booked a year and a half out there." And she was like, "Oh my God." And so she's like, "Well, we need to get you in and like, let's lock in on something." But it was like that everywhere. It was like that everywhere, man. It was pretty fucking crazy.
All right, so Gary Hood was our instructor. He taught us how to act. You didn't drink, didn't hit on staff. You would behave when out there. But you went on the road, was it to Wichita, Kansas?
Yeah.
And there's something called the Hood Rule? What's the Hood Rule?
Oh, actually, no. The gig was in Sierra Vista, Arizona, and it was a one-nighter on a military base. And we went out, and the guy that run it was, I think his name was Gordon, real nice guy. We got there and it was fucking packed, and I went up to the bar before the show to get a drink, and I said, "Can I get a Bud Light and a Jaeger?" And the bartender said, "Actually, you're not allowed to drink till after the show." And I go, "Why the fuck not?" And he goes, he said, "Honestly, it's not me." He goes, I don't know, it's some rule called the Gary Hood rule." And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, I don't know, like a comic named Gary Hood about 20 years ago got fucked up, and I don't know what he did, but it must have been really bad because they've had the rule for 20 years. And I asked Gary, I said, what did you do? And he's like, I don't fucking know.
That was our teacher, guys. Well,
Yeah.
Steve, thank you for your time, and I guess it's time for Sunday Fun Day, Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, let's get drunk.
I'm on. Peace.